Have you ever felt like you had to grow up faster than everyone else around you? Like while other kids were just being kids, you were already thinking, worrying, and acting like an adult? It's not always obvious at first, but many people carry this quiet feeling that they were never really allowed to be carefree, because somewhere along the way, responsibility found them too early. The responsible child is often seen as the strong one, the mature one, the one who has everything under control. On the outside, it looks like a positive role, something to be proud of, because being responsible is usually praised and appreciated. But what people don't see is the hidden emotional cost that comes with it. The pressure, the expectations, and the silent sacrifices that shape this role from a very young age. This role doesn't just appear randomly, it is usually created by circumstances within the family. Maybe there was emotional instability, financial stress, strict expectations, or even a lack of emotional support from parents. And in that environment, the child slowly learns that they need to step up, not because they want to, but because they feel like they have to. Instead of expressing their own needs, the responsible child starts focusing on others. They become the one who helps, who fixes problems, who keeps things together when everything feels like it's falling apart. They learn to stay strong, to stay quiet, and to handle things on their own, because asking for help either wasn't an option or didn't feel safe. Over time, this behavior turns into identity. It's no longer just something they do, it becomes who they are. They begin to believe that their value comes from being useful, from being dependable, from being the one others can rely on. And while that may bring appreciation, it also creates a deep internal pressure to never fail, to never break, and to never show weakness. As they grow older, this pattern doesn't just disappear. The responsible child often becomes the responsible adult, someone who takes on too much, who struggles to delegate, and who feels uncomfortable relying on others. Even when they are overwhelmed, they keep pushing forward, because slowing down feels unfamiliar, and asking for help feels almost impossible. Emotionally, this can be exhausting, because while they are always there for others, they often feel like no one is really there for them. They become so used to being the support system that they don't know how to receive support themselves. And deep down, there can be a quiet feeling of loneliness, a sense that their needs were never fully seen or understood. Another challenge the responsible child faces is difficulty relaxing or enjoying life. Since they were wired to focus on duties and responsibilities, they may feel guilty when they try to rest or do something just for themselves. Their mind is always thinking about what needs to be done next, what could go wrong, or how they can stay in control of everything around them. This also shows up in relationships. They may take on the role of the fixer, always trying to solve other people's problems, sometimes at the cost of their own emotional well-being. They may attract people who rely heavily on them, creating unbalanced dynamics where they give too much and receive too little in return. But here's the important part. Being the responsible child was not a flaw. It was a response. It was a way of adapting to an environment where you felt the need to be strong, to be reliable, and to hold things together. It helped you survive, it helped you function, and in many ways, it shaped your strengths. However, what once protected you can also limit you if you don't become aware of it, because constantly carrying everything on your own can lead to burnout, emotional exhaustion, and a disconnection from your own needs. And that's where change begins, not by rejecting your responsibility, but by redefining it. Being responsible doesn't mean you have to carry everything alone. It doesn't mean you have to ignore your emotions or sacrifice your well-being for others. True strength is not just about holding everything together. It's also about knowing when to let go, when to rest, and when to ask for help. Healing from this role starts with small steps. It starts with allowing yourself to say no without guilt, to take breaks without feeling lazy, and to recognize that your worth is not based on how much you do for others. It means learning to listen to your own needs, something you may have ignored for a very long time. You are allowed to be supported. You are allowed to be vulnerable. You are allowed to not have everything figured out all the time. These are not weaknesses. They are part of being human. And the more you accept that, the more you begin to free yourself from the pressure you've been carrying for so long. At the end of the day, the responsible child became strong because they had to. But now, as an adult, you have a choice. You can still keep your strength, your reliability, and your resilience. But you can also create space for ease, for balance, and for yourself. And that is where true growth begins, when responsibility no longer controls you, but supports the life you truly want to live.